Well, I had a couple of emails from people yesterday, and they weren't rude or angry or anything, just inquisitive, curious. So I wanted to talk about yesterday, and this is more directed at Wayne and Sweet Lake and those types of horses. So I'm going to start today's video, Saturday's video, with just a description of 5 types of 2-year-olds. 5 types of 2-year-olds that every barn on planet Earth has, wants, or doesn't want. The first one is the good horses, right? The seemingly top of the food chain. I mean, God, if you were lucky to have the best of the best, well, you're on cloud 9. But just good horses, right? Like Perfect Thought, Jailbird Jog, who is a good horse. You guys know that. Even the Uncle Danny's, Superminds. And that leads you to the next horses, the very productive ones. You know, we've raced Blue Rare 3 times, 4th, 2nd, 1st. Judy's Money, 2 wins and a 3rd. Then that brings you to the horses that are trying to find their way, right? You saw in Kentucky, we moved Degas from the 30 to the 15 class. She's a favorite this week. Jolene Hall, favorite this week. Dropping down in class. Still got it. There's no cakewalks. They're not going to just write the check and say, well, I guess Anthony figured it out. Jolene Hall dropped down in class. We'll just scratch her, give her the win money, and everybody else can race for $7,500. Doesn't work that way. Then you have the horses that are just nice horses. Like Wayne and the filly yesterday. They're mildly in the mix given the right class in the Stallion Series. And that's a nice way of saying they don't really fit in the stakes company. Not yet, anyway. Both have exhibited speed. Both show miles in 53 or 54, 27, 28 on the end of it. Those are quality horses. And it doesn't take much for a horse like that to jump up and be a stake horse. But right now, they're not. And then you have the overnight horse, which they are, right? If they're not stakes company and they're overnight horses, but they're going to be productive overnight horses. And that's sometimes as important as having a pretty good stallion, Buckeye, grassroots horse. Then you have the horses that just aren't good enough. They're just not good enough. We're selling some of those on Monday. There's nothing wrong with that. I've had a lot of people ask me, Anthony, what about Captain Doolittle? What about the Go Strong Hanover colt? Hey, you're selling that brother to Poppy Rob Hanover. What's the scoop there? They're not stake horses. There's nothing wrong with that. You can take any one of those 3 horses to Ocean, Dover, Saratoga, Plain Ridge, Georgian Downs, Flamborough when it opens, Northfield, the Meadows maybe, I don't know, and race them. I just don't want to. We have better horses we're racing or better horses we've turned out, in my opinion. There's nothing wrong with that. But there has to be that filing system, right? I raced Wayne, we raced Wayne and Sweet Lake yesterday. Sweet Lake gets away last, right, by a million lengths. What are you going to do? You don't know the horse. You're coming out of the 6th hole. A bunch of horses leaving on the inside. The mile was hot. There's nothing he could do. Troy Byer, there's nothing he could do. Drove the horse good. Only met the kid a couple of times. Seems like a nice guy. Does pretty good in Philadelphia way. Drives for a lot of very quality trainers. Good guy. Did right by the filly. Look left, everybody's leaving. Duck. We ended up with a check. My name's Wayne. Yes, she was 2nd in 52, but again, it was a bit of a mix, right? It wasn't a bad class. She raced good on her home turf. Ship all the way down to Philadelphia. Chase faster fillies. Probably get sick of it around the last turn and said, no, next time. But there's no way to look at that filly and say, well, she's just not good. Of course she is. She pays 53 and a piece 54 as a 2-year-old. She's a good filly. Both those fillies are good fillies. But the reality of the situation is, whether it be Sire Stake Company or Stallion Series Company, you have 5 or 6 that are worth racing in those stake races because they are good enough to win. Maybe you have 10. Everybody else just chasing. And whether it's overnights or stake races, I don't really like chasing. Now, that's a contradiction to what I said about a horse like Time Is On My Side. He's been a long shot chasing his entire life. He was 99-1, finishing second in 48 his last start. Good horse, given the right circumstances, will do well. And the money that they race for, well, makes sense. When you're racing for $20,000 and you're 20-1 going to the gate, you're in the wrong place. And that's nobody's fault. It would be impossible for us not to take Weenie and that filly to Philadelphia yesterday. First filly won her first Stallion Series. She won it. Raced good in her second one. No, that was the yard last time. Won her first one raced in the yard. The other filly, first check she ever missed was yesterday. Finished second in 52-4. Her last start. To say she's not good enough, well, that's just silly. She's not quite good enough. And it would be impossible for me not to take her to Philadelphia. Now, Millie Girl, nice little filly, but clearly was not going to Philadelphia. The other two are kind of tweeners, right? Now they come back to the Meadows. They skipped the second one in the Poconos, right? I'm sick. Come back to the Meadows for the last one. Will we race them in it? Well, it's our home track, possibly. Take a maiden mark, reevaluate, likely turn them out. There's nothing wrong with that. We've taught them everything they can learn. You look at a horse like Sweet Lake, she's got a ton of breeding, pedigree to draw from. She got a good attitude, she got a nice gait, and she shows speed. She's taking a 2-year-old stake mark at 56 flat. So the emails yesterday were virtually in reference to those two fillies. Is there something wrong with them? Were they sick today? Of course they weren't sick today. We scoped Blaney. There was nothing wrong with her. She's just not going to continue to chase. If you've been to Philadelphia, right? I mean the racetrack. It's maybe the hottest place on planet Earth. And when you have to chase the whole time, if I just spilled that drink, I literally would have pulled over and burnt the car right there. That was very close. There's nothing wrong with the fillies. They're nice fillies. They just were chasing speed and got sick of it yesterday, I suspect. Both scope fine and both will be fine their next start. I suspect you're looking at 1 or 2 more starts. Stallion Series for both of them at the Meadows because it's our home track. That's where they're stabled and they live, so makes all the sense in the world. Plus, if you're sitting 14th or 15th in standings, you're not going to the Meadows. You're going to let the best ones go to the Meadows. It's the same for us. Shipped 5 hours to Philadelphia yesterday. It's not that bad for those guys on the East Coast, but for us, it was kind of tough. It's the opposite next time. So I would say Maiden, which I suspect Weenie will win. She is a nice filly. Stallion Series, and then reassess and possibly turn out. Same with Sweet Lake. Now, the rest of the card, Malisandre just felt tired to me. A little bit bumpy up front. We tried taking the flip-flops off her again 2-3 starts ago. I don't think she trots any faster with or without them on. So we'll probably just put them back on her. But she felt tired yesterday. Again, you talk about chasing speed. She can't win that class. So, you find a helmet, shoot her through the middle. Fine. If you're in a big field, if you draw 2 in an 8-horse field, they mix it up a little bit and you kind of sneak through, fine. When you're in a 5-horse field, favorite usually gets the front, gets everything their own way. You're going to be 5th or 6th. Thought I was 5th. I was 6th. She still tried 56-1 because that's what she can trot. But for her to go faster and do more, she has to be in a class she can actually win. So we're going to give her a couple of weeks off, maybe 3 weeks off. I know my buddy Johnny messaged me and said, well, with her being in Harrisburg, the timing of giving her a rest doesn't make sense. Okay, well, I can tell you, she can't race like that. She does feel tired. She is a little bumpy. And I'd rather not just do vet work to her and put her back in to go. I would rather give her the time, bring her back, and even if we have a couple of 3 starts with her, so be it. I still would like to get a good mark on her. That's the plan. Tenacious Hanover, just short. That was as sound and as good as I've seen him in a while. Now think about it, he's been off, 3.5 weeks. Before that, he had a short rest. He hasn't been the soundest in his last 3-4 starts. So he's been struggling a little bit. He went from being really good those 2-3 starts in a row, moved up in class, and was immediately a little bit off right front, feeling it a little bit. Not quite as sharp, not quite as good. Then he goes to the veterinarian. Dr. Brown does the work on him, but you can't train that horse up hard. So he has to be short. It's impossible that he wasn't. I thought he raced good yesterday. 53-3, being off 3.5 weeks. I suspect, run it back, same trip, same horses, I get them. I was very impressed with Tenacious Hanover yesterday. He's grown on me, that horse. You hear me say that about Neptune also, but also about this little guy. Man, he really is tenacious, and he will get that bunch. Lifting Legend raced great at Grand River, second in 58-4. I see a lot of growth and maturity and speed growing in that horse too. That's a mile at 59, 58-4. I don't know his speed length, maybe 59, but did it the right way. Left, pushed through, dropped in the 2-hole, followed the favorite, and was a factor going under the wire. I was happy with him. Momento Mory, I'm going to finish up with Yo Mister and come back to Momento Mory. Yo Mister raced good, get out late, finished up strong. Exactly what we want to see from Yo Mister. Now, run it back to Momento Mory. I didn't want to make a video last night because I was edgy. I told Greg had come all the way down from Philadelphia to the Meadows. I said, we'll go eat something to eat after. But after getting beat up all night, second, third, it's not like I was 5th, 6th, so I don't want to seem like a greedy, pouty, baby about it. But when you just get beat all night, you ground into just tortured all night, second, third, fourth. I suspect it's like going to bingo. You just ended up with Bing all night. No O's. And then watching everybody yell bingo around you, eventually you want to punch somebody in the head. Second, Bing. Second, Bing. Third, fourth, fifth, Bing, Bing, Bing. No bingos. Just one of those nights. You ever do, I guess it's hard to explain. If you've ever played anything, gone anywhere, done anything, and just knew you weren't going to have a great day. Not a horrible day. Just weren't feeling it. I got to the track yesterday and I just wasn't feeling it. I have no idea why. It's the weirdest thing. It's almost like right? You're trying to beat the house all night and you can't. So yesterday was full of bings and no bingos. Now Momento Mory. So I can't. Two things with Momento Mory. Everybody asks me, why didn't he get better? He's the exact same horse he was last year. By that I mean identically, physically looking at him. He looks like the 2-year-old version of himself last year in June and July. Now, a 2-year-old that can trot 54, 55, well, that's a very useful horse. A 3-year-old that can do it, he's just a horse. Cannot seem to put the weight on Momento Mory. I think he's lost 10 or 15 pounds. Now it's in the heat of the summer. He's been raced hard his last 2 or 3. He just tucked up a bit. I know why he's not finishing up his miles, and one is directly in correlation with the other. We went through the same thing with Delicious Stone. Now, he was sore and hurt and whatever, but wasn't finishing up his miles because he was skinny, light, thin. And you might say to yourself, well, you just got to put them on this and put them on that. It's not that easy. The stress of racing sometimes is hard on horses. I will say this. The girls in the barn at Dominic's have done a great job putting weight. Delicious Stone actually looks fat now. I can't believe it. That's a combination of a lot of things. One, stress levels down. Two, he's getting sounder, which obviously helps the stress level come down. And three, just a relaxed environment. It's not lost on me that our horses are at the track, whether it be the Meadows or Northfield. Most horses, it doesn't matter. We can keep a close eye on them. If we want to freshen them up, we can send them out to the farm. Whether it be Jacobs or somebody else's around Pennsylvania, or whether it be Power Play Stables or Carlos Place here in Ohio. We can get them out. But every horse is different. And the only time I saw Momento Mory put some weight on is when he was at that lady's farm in New York. Karen, really nice lady. I know Momento Mory, you know, I felt bad. I tell you how nice a guy Mike Wilder is. Like, I run right into him, getting into last time. I'm trying to sneak out. Momento Mory trots the turns better than the straightaways. I hear Mike. I know it's Mike coming. I hear him coming. I'm thinking, I'm going to get out and Mory's going to pounce forward. Mike and I are going to be 1-2. And if I don't, Mike's just going to move 3 deep and blast us, and I'll be second. But as it turned out, Mike kept coming. Momento Mory came out and just kind of hung there, and I clipped him. I hit him. Mike was mad, pulling up, yelling, angry. I would have been too. Didn't cost me anything, because as it turned out, I was going to be third regardless. Whether that be finishing third or place third, I was going to be third regardless. I just hit him, plain as day. He says after, he goes, I lost my cool. I said, lost my cool? I said, there was a time in my driving career that would have got me a punch in the mouth from somebody. Come right out. I had time to come out. I took my time, and ended up interfering with him. But Momento Mory just didn't bounce when I asked him to, and he felt like he wanted to. He's trotting good now, and he feels like he wants to be better than he is. Under scope last week, he was fine, but his levels implied that he was bleeding a bit, and I believe it's ulcers. I believe it's stress. Now that I know there's no consolation in New York for the Sire Stakes, what do we do? What's best for Mory? Well, I know where I saw the skinniest horse I've seen in a while turn into one of the fattest horses, and that's right in Ontario. So I'm going to send Mory over there, give him a couple of weeks, and I know there's going to be people saying, oh, another Mory story from Anthony. The reality of the situation is, Mory does have his deficits, his deficiencies. Last year he was able to work through them, and this year he's struggling with it a bit. That's it. First and foremost, you can't race a skinny horse like that. It just doesn't, and that's not me taking a shot at anybody. We had him all winter and couldn't put weight on him either. It's a problem. Well, I did see a similar problem, and it was remedied north of the border. Whether it be the atmosphere, whether it be the air, the water, the feed, I don't care, as long as we can put weight on him. I am certain. Mentally, Momento Mory is where he needs to be. Physically, he's skinny, and it's costing him and costing us throughout the mile. Do I like him better on a smaller track? Sure I do. But we need him to get back to a little bit closer to the horse we expected him to be, and he's not there. I gave him every opportunity yesterday, and I did not feel his attitude cost him the race. I felt when I got off the bike that his body failed him. Mentally, he's at 110%. His body just failed him a little bit. We got to help him with that. I can only tell you what I see. Doesn't mean that it's right. This isn't me blowing smoke. I might be wrong. He might go over to Ontario, not put a pound on, race terrible over there, and a new problem arises. I just don't see that coming. You want to do well in horse racing, you have to be able to uncover as many stones as you can, right? Turn them all over, take a look at what is causing a horse to be not at 100%. But here's the kicker, and here's the problem, and a lot of people forget about this. A lot of really smart people forget about this too. you might fix all the problems and they don't go 1 ounce faster. And if you're a horseman out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There isn't anybody out there that hasn't got a horse say, oh, I'm going to fix this, I'm going to fix that. You fix them, you're happy with what you see. You go and race the horse and, oh, not 1 ounce better. In fact, maybe even worse sometimes. I've been there. You've been there. All I can tell you is the issues I see and how I think we can remedy them the best. But ultimately, it's up to the horse to do better and draw from that. I think he will because his attitude is good. But we do have to help him out, in my opinion. So that's what we're going to do with Mory. He is heading over to Ontario. He's going to join Dominic's barn. They're going to try and put some weight on him. Probably give him a couple of weeks. There's no point in trying to race him right away. Give him a couple of weeks. Fit him in somewhere, whether it be Georgia and Grand River, and then hopefully work our way back to Ontario where he can fit in the numbers of 4, 5, 6. And we can do some damage over there. Not the path I thought we'd take at the start of 2025, but the path that makes the most sense to me. Now, Saturday we got Arrowhead, Hanover, Rock Shining Star, Manhattan Money, Patrick the Piranha, Woodmere Betcha is going to race in Charlottetown for Jim. James McDonald will be driving her. Greatest ending is at Mohawk. And I'm going to close out our night late in the 16th race, which will go about 1.2 seconds before midnight with our girl, Foxy Seaside. So, with that, I got some videos for you today, but I wanted to give you a complete update as we head into Saturday. I stopped quick at Big D's. I got to get a pair of gloves, got to get 2 whips. I think that's it. So, take care. We'll talk to you all very soon. If you have any questions regarding any of the horses, drop me a line, let me know. Otherwise, have a fantastic rest of your weekend. Take care.